Very good. All right, can you guys see my screen?
We can.
Very good. Again, thank you everyone for your time today. My name is Eric Bender. I am the product director for Infor's Contract Lifecycle Management. We're a relatively new application from Infor. We were not acquired by anybody, so it wasn't a pre-existing application. We built it from the ground up to meet the needs of our customers. With that being said, I'm going to focus today on how Infor CLM can help drive sales effectiveness, and then do a quick demo. So why is CLM important to sales? According to Aberdeen and other analysts, CLM is the tail end or a key component in sales cycles. So managing contemporary B2B sales team, nothing's more frustrating than seeing those sure thing deals, and I'm sure we've all had those, slip unexpectedly into the next sales cycle. In fact, 24% of registered close date committed opportunities suffer this fate. How many of you have had that happen? So Aberdeen did research, and from their own customers coming back, CLM has had a positive impact on the reduction of errors year over year, customer renewal rates, and lead conversion rates. Why is this? CLM helps companies increase visibility to all customer-facing content, improve legal compliance via pre-approved quotes, NDAs, proposals, and contracts, introduces a process for streamlined contracting, managerial additional visibility into profit costs of every deal, and processes for streamlining deal negotiations. So those companies with best-in-class processes and competencies are aligned with CLM best practices, which are minimizing people functions, rapidly, effectively responding to RFPs, managing pricing, generating complex contracts in a timely manner, and avoiding no decision contracts. So what is Infor's vision? Infor has cloud architecture, industry domain, scientists, design thinking, and engineering to scale, create new genre of applications that are engaging, predictive, immersive, and transformative. Where does CLM fit into this? We're part of Infor's customer experience suite. So from marketing through sales and service, CRM, CPQ, and CLM, we're a part of helping you market and sell and close sales better and faster. So what is the life cycle? CLM helps our customers analyze, create, negotiate, execute, manage, and analyze contracts throughout their life cycle better than anybody else. We're focused on sell side, but we can also do, if you have buy-side contracts, third-party contracts, which are those contracts that your customers or your suppliers make you sign because you don't author them. It's their author, and or your legacy contracts. Why did we come up with CLM? In talking to customers of needs that they had came up into three main categories. Their processes were manual, which led to additional risk because they had no idea on a overall visibility level what they were agreeing to. They may see it on a deal to deal, but from an overall risk portfolio, they had no clue, and their processes were inefficient. So our solution is meant to address all of that. We have a rules-based engine. We've taken the contract and broken the contract document, which everybody is familiar with, and broken out into its key items, terms, conditions, and clauses. We're able to, using the rules engine, be able to wrap rules around how a contract gets created by providing a user-guided selection process to determine the clauses, determine the items, determine the language that gets put into there, providing guidance whether it's out of bounds, standard, non-standard, in order to create the most efficient and effective contract that your company can create. We have a pricing engine, so with the items, you can pull the item pricing, attach discounts to it as well as the item cost, and therefore you can see the margin and see your deal as it's going through its process and life cycle and be able to make best decisions for your customers and for yourself. Because we've pulled all that information out, we ultimately need to get it back into a format that everybody recognizes as a contract, and that's the document. So we have document generation capability where we can take everything along with seeded template and then insert it into that template to generate your contract. So you can customize the contract to your customer at hand and have the best looking contract in addition to the most effective, most profitable contract out there. Enterprise integration, what does that mean? Infor has a baseline tech stack integration architecture that we are built upon. So we can integrate with CRM, integrate with different ERPs. We're also a cloud-based application, so we are a multi-tenant SaaS application by design. You can access our application on any device from any location as long as you have internet access. How does this help you? We provide real value by being able to help you deliver on your obligations as promised. By being able to see margins, you can optimize the deal value. By being able to see the contract and all the steps throughout its life cycle, you'll know the background of this and any other deals related to the customers you're working with. Again, help track obligations, and by being able to be alerted to things that are happening or going to happen, you can act proactively, be it milestone, be it renewals, expirations. Driving real results. How does this help your company? It helps you increase your margins. Forrester had done a study on the effects of contract lifecycle management applications. Adding a contract lifecycle management application can increase top-line revenue by up to 1%. It also affects margin by up to 3% improvements. Helps reduce risk by having standardized language and identifying when standardized language is no longer used, so you can know what you're agreeing to. By having standardized templates and having a central location for that, you're using the same template over and over. So one of the risks is having Joe Smith, the sales guy out in Iowa, being able to take and save a document on his hard drive and use it for years and years and years, and not have the most latest, greatest corporate approved without having somebody to oversight and agree to it. But it also simplifies and helps you differentiate your brands. Customers are going to be more willing to do business with you because you're presenting stuff in a more standardized fashion, repeatable fashion, being able to use language for that customer in order to make them happier and want to do more business with you. So with that, here's a quick list of some of the capabilities we came out with for our initial applications. We've since grown that. So what makes us different than the competition? We focused our application on the attributes, and an attribute is an item, term, condition, or clause. We based our application based upon that, which allows us to make that visible in the application without having to drill through a bunch of language in a document in order to find it. We make it front and center, make it easy to find, easy to use, easy to report on. We are rules-based. Like I said, we apply rules to not only define the attributes, but define other attributes or other language that will go into the contract, provide boundaries or guidance that are set by you as a company or your legal department in order to determine whether or not additional approvals have to happen, or say you can't proceed any further because there's just no way, this contract is too risky, we can't move forward, we have to renegotiate it or move in a different direction with it. User experience. We built our application from the ground up, designed to be easy to use, easy to author on any device, and fully integrated. And with that, I'm going to switch over and take you to our application. So as I mentioned, we are a web-based application. We are built inside of Infor's Mingle and Ion, the cloud editions. I'm going to take you into CLM. So here is the Contract Lifecycle Management homepage. This dashboard is designed to answer the key question or main question that when we were talking to customers about why they needed a contract management solution is, where is a contract at in its life cycle? So we said, okay, let's break down the life cycle into multiple statuses and where it is at. The top section is in aggregate of those contracts. Yeah.
We're still seeing your PowerPoint.
Let me switch that. It should have stayed on. Can you see the application now?
No, we still see PowerPoint.
Are you still seeing the PowerPoint, or are you seeing the application now?
PowerPoint.
That's odd, because the PowerPoint I minimized. Is that better?
I'm seeing your Outlook now.
Why did it change the screen to?
Now I see it.
That's odd. It switched monitors. That's unusual, but anyways, let's move on. User error, I guess. So what I was saying is this screen is split into 3 sections. The top section is all contracts modified within the last 30 days. I can change the filter to modified within 60 days, 90 days, and it's a live search. So the live results, if I wanted to check to see which contract was in draft mode, it launches there and I can go in and enter into that contract. In the bottom section, I have the last 12 agreements I have worked on. So let's go and create, in this scenario, I am the sales manager for a furniture company. I want to go and work with one of my dealers who's put in a request for new project for special pricing. I'm going to go to our discounted pricing contract so I can discount the prices. Let's go and let's define the agreement. I need to choose my parties. Actually, I'm going to select Hawkeye for this, so I'll go back and rename it. I'm going to choose Brian, and I'm going to choose their headquarters. And now I'm going to define the contract terms and conditions. So in working with Brian, they have a customer that's installing furniture in a bunch of new buildings, and they want to have special pricing. I'm going to give them pricing for the next 6 months, so I'm going to override the value. Actually, that's 5 months. Let's go out to November. And then the competition he mentioned that we have is Kiwani, Kewalu. If you notice the selections I'm making, it's tracking it on the right-hand side and RC Supply. Can track back to an opportunity, either an Infor CRM, in this case it was external to Salesforce. So that part of the integration for CRM would be to actually be able to initiate the contract creation process from Infor CRM and would take you into these pages. So we're going to hold the pricing for the entire term. We have different methods of entering content. If I put the price lock for more than 6 months, now I'm being guided. So here's one of the boundaries. It's considered risky, requires additional finance approval. So maybe I don't really want to do that. I'll just lock it for the 6 months and we'll be going from there. I can choose if we're going to do rebates. If I choose just base, it drops with an additional percentage. In this case, I'm going to do none. And now we're being launched into the actual pricing. I'm working with the dealer, so I don't know who the end customer is. And they've indicated they want items from our systems and seating product lines. We're going to do the private office and wall-based. As you can see, additional information is popping in here as far as discounts, and I'm going to choose Striker chair product line, and I'm going to choose the multi-purpose chair as the individual chair in there. So with the multi-purpose chair, our standard discount with the dealer is 55. Let's go with 59% here. As you can see on the approval side, we're indicating that now this requires a significant level of approval because no longer is it the sales lead. Now we need the GSA manager because our margin has dropped down to 16.86%. We're going to do $5,000. They're looking at doing $5,000 worth of business with that. Let's just increase this to 76.5%. So we only need the sales manager. Do $10,000 worth of business there. And 77.5 with this. And we're also going to do $10,000 worth of private office. So as you can see, we can provide feedback along, provide margins and everything else. The private office, we know the margin's typically really low, but we still make pretty good money on it. So I'm okay with that. The contract manager is going to have to manage that anyways. So I'm done selecting. I'm going to click continue. If we have some additional questions, if we're doing over 250K, that's additional negotiations, new products, yes. Special custom products, separate negotiation, let's go no with that. Services included, no. And I do not want to add a custom note. Buyer affiliates, in this case, again, just additional questions around can additional people buy off of this that are affiliated with the customer. In this case, let's select no. And I can add comments in and among here. I'm not going to add, let's add a contact comment. And finish. So I've defined what the contract terms and conditions are. Here's the real strength of our application. We make it easy to view on the page the key items and terms. So for each of the product lines that we chose, I have an average discount or average discount here, and I can show who the approvers in each case is and what level. If I want to view everything that's out there on a single page, I can break it down into categories. Let's look at everything that affects finance. So if I'm the CFO and I want to come in and where's the financial aspects of the deal, and this is all user definable. So in this case, we just define these as the ones going to finance. If you have different ones, it's completely user definable, and you can determine what you see and how it's categorized. And again, same highlight here. If I want to see what the printed version is, DocX is the default, but I can also download it as PDF. In this case, it's easier right now just to view as PDF. So here's the contract based upon my company, Progressive Incorporated, dealing with Hawkeye LLC. Effective date upon signature, expiration date pulled from what I entered, the contract number, so there's a tracking to it. Let's change the display level. Scope, terms of sale, again, all based upon everything that I've entered. And showing over here up to 250,000. Discounts are negotiable, so these are based upon the notes that I entered on the end, and the signatories on the end. So at this point, I'm going to initiate the approval sequence in order to get the feedback from the various approvers. This goes out to the workflow application to go through and determine at what level do I need approvals. And it should pop up here in a few secs. And again, the workflow is another rules engine, so based upon what you've defined, you can have simple workflows, complex workflows. It's purely up to what makes sense for your organization. In this case, I now have 3 approvals. So this was a parallel workflow based upon product line. So each one of the product line has its own escalation so that we can show the approvals, and then once it's all approved, I get notified that the approval. So in an approval, we can show scroll back, so if a person needs to go back into the agreement, we can go into the agreement, see the most current updated version. It's called the drill back. So I'll go back out here, show the details again. I can go to the specific document if I want to. Approvals can be assigned to groups, and inside those groups, an individual can assign it to themselves, review the contract, terms and conditions, add some notes. Save the note, and then approve or reject from there. In this case, I'm going to approve. And the notifications also come via email. So a user can look at it and then go into the application to approve or reject. We don't have the capability to approve or reject from email yet, but that is on the roadmap for our ION and Mingle teams. And hopefully we'll have that capability shortly. And then I'm just going to approve this one. Sign. I'm going to add a note on this one as well. Save that. And then we will go ahead and approve that. So once the contract is all approved, we'll get notification that it has been approved, and we can show the details along with any and all comments. So here's the first comment, just looks good, and then the second comment, great job, looks good. Approval process is complete. So if I go back into CLM to look at the agreement, it's now going to say it's internally approved. And once the internal approvals, it can go out for negotiation, or we can just send it out for approval. In this case, I'm going to send it out for electronic signature. Going to confirm who the signatories are. There's a chance that it may have changed. In this case, it hasn't. And let's send it for signature. We are integrated with DocuSign so that they can successfully do that. Let's go in. I've got some default accounts set up for the emails. There's the signature request email. And here's our document, expiration, agreement, next date. I'm being asked to initial here. Let's change the style here just because we can. Choose that, adopt an initial, and then sign here. And we're finished. So the signatures are staged so that in this example, the excuse me, the buyer is chosen to sign first, and then from there the seller will receive a email asking them to sign. So it can be staged. Or you can have them both sent out at the same time. So the effective date, I've already received one signature, so the effective date is today's date. So that gets filled in automatically. Here's the initial by the buyer and their signature, and I'm being asked to sign here. I'll just use the standard signature, sign that, finish. No need to sign up for DocuSign. All signatories, or I should say no signatory, needs an account. The account is owned by the company who owns CLM, and you buy the number of transactions that you expect to perform in a year, and the contract will be signed. We then bring the contract back in. It usually takes up to 15 to 20 minutes for a contract to come back and be certified. Here's an example of a similar contract, And once it's fully signed, the only style it's saved in is PDF version. It retains the watermarks and the certificate from DocuSign. So that it's all completely signed. So once it comes back in, again, you'll be able to see, in this case, it's out for e-signature, but once it's done, it'll show up in the signed right here. We have full search capabilities. We can search on the contracts. So if I typed in Hawkeye, I'll see not only the party, but I'll see all agreements that were entered into with Hawkeye. If I was to type another specific term in, it'll bring back the results for that. Our demo environment is an actual production environment, so the speed you see in here is the speed our customers will see as they're using the application. And on the search, let me type in Hawkeye again. Once you've gotten a certain set of results, we can filter modified 30 days, do a search by most relevant oldest date. And had I just typed Hawk, so let's just do HAW. Again, we do a Google Light search where it's going to find relevant, not only exact matches. And it's that easy to use. At this point, I'd like to open up to questions.
Thanks, Eric. Right now, it doesn't look like anyone has posted anything yet. However, if you do have a question, go ahead and type that up right now. We do have a little bit of time left. And if you think of something after we end this webinar, you are free to send an email to Scott Weber or myself, and we will connect with Eric and get your question answered. You could also go to info@customerfx and type in your question. Scott and I receive emails that go to that email address, and again, we'll get those to Eric and get your questions answered. And then we are going to make a recording of today's presentation available. If you'd like to review certain parts of today's presentation, or if there are people in your organization that were unable to make it or that you think would be interested in viewing today's webinar about Infor CLM, you'll be able to do that, and we usually make those available within a day or two. So be looking for that. And it does look like we had one question pop up, Eric, and it is, does the document automatically stay in Infor CRM as an attachment?
We can push it over to Infor CRM so you can see it in Infor CRM. We have not done that yet. It stays in CLM, so it resides permanently inside of CLM, but we can make links available inside of Infor CRM.
Great.
And it can be attached to either the opportunity or the account.
We'll give it just another minute or so here in case there are any other questions that people are typing up right now. There we have another one. What does it push to CRM?
It would push the contract information. So it can push the contract total value. It can push the contract number. It'll push the hot link, so you can drill back to Infor CLM to see the actual contract. And like I said, it can also push a link to the contract document.
And I'm not sure if he was typing this as you're answering, but he was wondering if it's to the opportunity or history or what portion.
It would typically the integration would be back to the opportunity. It can be, like I said, to the account level as well. We can also post the status of the contract as it's going through its life cycle. So when a contract is first created and pushed from CRM, it'll be shown in draft status, and then as it moves through its life cycle, you'll see the updates.
Great. All right. Well, it looks like that's it right now for questions. We want to thank you again for your time today, Eric. It was great that you could demo the product and share some information. This is new to, I believe, everybody using Infor CRM. And again, we will have this recording available. So go out to customerfx.com to the library. It will be under that tab. And we want to thank everyone for joining us today, and have a great afternoon.